You're
There
live.
it is. All right. So we are here. We've been going live for the past 2 minutes, guys. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is Nate and Eric. I'm here with Eric Hunley. It's funny because when I was thinking about how to introduce you, I was like, I'm Nate the lawyer. This is Eric the regular guy.
I could think of other names. Eric, others will probably put in different words. I may not like those words, but I'm sure there are many words to describe me.
Oh my God. So for those of you who don't know, we are shooting this live. We're going to react to a couple of articles that have come out over the weekend. One is about believing all people, right, Eric? Is believing all people?
No, more specifically, believe all women, Nate. Get with the program.
Jodi Arias, right? We got to believe her.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we believe for sure. Eileen Warkos, we got to believe her. Maybe we could resurrect her.
Believing all. So
the Rosenbergs, believe them.
Yes. Lisa says, in my opinion, your movement requires the validation of Amber Heard. You may want to rethink your strategy. Thank you.
Why is that with Lisa? Every woke movement that they find somebody repugnant? I mean, we have BLM backing up Juicy. It's like, really, folks? I mean, there is nobody out there. No, you can't find any legitimate victim. You're going to have to find this one person. And then what do? Oh, I get it. Let's double down on that dumbass hill to die on.
Listen. I don't know. I've been watching the trial. It's been crazy. But me and Eric have our first guest on the show. He's another attorney from New York and Florida, bringing in John O'Brien. What's going on, John? How you doing?
Hey, guys. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
So John is
honored to be the first guest.
I just want to be very clear. John is very pro Amber. So
that's good.
Pro Amber, right? So what do you think about the whole? Well, John, I want to ask you, what do you think about the whole believe all women narrative? What do you think about that?
So I was thinking about that. I actually kind of want to separate like Me Too from believe all women, because Me Too I think actually has some sort of social value to it. The idea that you're not alone and can come forward. Believe all women is just a perversion of the presumption of innocence. It's, there's nothing preternatural about being a woman that makes you immune from lying. And that seems to be the suggestion here.
Yeah. It's interesting because it shouldn't be believe a gender. It should be believe victims, based on the story they tell. But unfortunately, I think in this case, Amber's not the victim. I think she's the perpetrator. But let's see what all the hoopla is about with the article. So let me share.
You bring up a good point on that. By the way, John,
go ahead.
If you think about it, what would be the best way to destroy a movement that I didn't like? It would be to escalate it to the next level. So if you get the whole Me Too movement, if I can inject a thing of believe all women, so now I've taken it to the ludicrous level, what does that do to the actual movement? And I bring this up because one of the biggest backers, the feminist movement, Gloria Steinem, was guess who? The CIA and Rockefeller.
Yeah.
And keep this in mind. Why would they want feminism and women in the workplace all the time? Because they could double the economy overnight. So there was more going on than just equal rights. It was, if you can get both parents working or both people working in the house, they're both going to buy a car. Now we've doubled the consumer production.
Yeah. No, I mean, I generally agree with you on that one. I think that it's sort of interesting that now, because of that and because economies respond to the reality, you almost need to have both parents working. You do need to have both parents working to maintain a decent quality of life these days.
Yeah.
But now, with that said, everybody's saying, bingo, Eric, you got it. So with that said, all right, so you know what? Before we jump into this, let me ask both of you, seriously. You've seen, both of you have seen so much of this trial. I've watched every minute. I think John has watched a tremendous amount, and so have you, Eric. It's not about, do you believe Amber? I'm going to ask you a different question. It's, why don't you believe her? I'll start with you, Eric. I'm gonna put you on this. Put you on the spot. Let's see why.
Okay.
Let's see why Eric, in the big chair. Why don't you believe Amber?
Oh, the chair's so big I have a standing desk. Why don't I believe Amber? Well, I've adopted a term that she is a pinball machine of micro expressions. And I'm not kidding. If you watch her in her testimony, because I do body language stuff on my other channel, she is moving so fluidly. And what's creepy about it is if you just slow the film down, you see this rage that seeps through. It's dark. Like if you're just kind of watching normal speed, she's like, well, an expressive person. But then when you slow down the film, because I had to do this, I have body language experts on, so I'm editing. You see these come out, and I'm like, okay, I'm aging myself, but does anybody remember the Linda Blair and The Exorcist? Or I'm waiting for her head to spin around. I'm not kidding. Her expressions are frightening, and she shows every sign of deception almost every minute of everything that she says. It's kind of like I was having a couple of body language experts on, and what I wanted to do is play a little game. Like, okay, pick the timestamp. Everybody go and then say, here are the 5 deceptive factors. Just at random. I've never seen anybody other than, I think, Jodi Arias might be a good one, who is so convoluted and all over the place. So that's why.
John, let's know what. Let's put John.
I like Eric's point. No, from my perspective, I think that the difference is in terms of just the two narratives. You put them side by side based upon what extrinsic evidence we have. It's so difficult to suggest that her story makes more sense. And I always operate, if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that Johnny's story of, throwing the bottle at the finger, whereas Amber's is he was smashing a telephone and that's how his finger got severed. It doesn't ring true. And, if you lie about one thing, it's going to make me skeptical about the rest of it. And it's just over and over and over. Her narrative has so many details. And the other aspect that I noticed from a verbal perspective is how many adverbs does she use when she's telling these stories from years and years ago? Because that to me is always a sign of embellishment. She's not telling the story, she's painting a picture of the story in a way that
it's an incomplete picture. I agree with you, but it's always incomplete. Like you'll point out, so wait, you said this, and this. I never gave a sequence.
Right. And that was a big one that, I never gave a sequence. The other aspect of it that I thought was very interesting is all of these harrowing incidents. One, there's no extrinsic evidence of it. So that alone makes me skeptical. The other aspect is every single one of these circumstances, he does these awful things and then I black out. And then there's nothing. I wake up the next morning. I'm like, you don't remember any of that. And then even just like minor details. How many times has she noticed a dirty carpet on different occasions?
Or how many pounds of pressure to somebody's wrist? I think there were 2 victims of Johnny's wrist pressure technique or threats.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult when all of the stories are basically the same story on a different timeline with slightly different details based upon what has been proven. And it's just like it's the same picture over and over again. She's just tailoring it to the facts that she can't dispute.
Yeah, it's interesting because it seems like both of you guys are exactly where I'm at, right? I don't believe Amber, nor do I honestly believe Johnny, right? I believe the facts and evidence. And it really, when 2 people have a narrative that they want to present to you, it's, they're both doing it or explaining it under their own perception and what's best for them, right? This is the best outcome for me, so I'm going to say this, or this is the best outcome for me, so I'm going to say this. That's generally what I'm assuming people are doing in court. And with that, I try to look, like John said, what's for extrinsic evidence to see whose version of reality aligns more with the facts. And as of right now, based on not only the versions that they've put forward, it's even her own prior statements that don't make sense. Like nothing adds up with her story. Like she says one thing first, like you know what? Matter of fact, here I have it. Let me put this. I have an example. Check this out. So there's one example of Amber, which she first says. Let me remove this from the stream. Amber first says that for the stairwell incident that she didn't remember what happened. She didn't remember hitting Johnny. She didn't remember any of that stuff, right? I don't remember. I just don't remember. Then on the back end, she comes back when she's testifying now, and not only does she remember everything, she remembers it with such great detail, and she remembers exactly what happened, and then we get all these new details that come out that contradict some of the old stuff she said. So she went from right after the event, I really don't remember what happened, to now 6 years later to no, I remember every single detail. That just doesn't make sense to me. And the fact that all the details that she's made up doesn't agree with any of the other people who said, because don't forget her sister was there, and her sister, even though it's trying to tell a story helpful for to Amber, is telling a totally different story. So that's my reason. My reason is that Amber could be telling the truth, but if she is, she's doing a hell of a job of fooling me that she's lying. Right? I really believe if she's telling the truth, that she's the best actress in the world, because her acting is telling me she's lying like crazy. So
it's the liar's loop, is what a lot of people call that. Scott Rouse and Greg Hartley came up with the term, but essentially, she's making a statement. So in order to, you have to think about what's going to be my narrative. Then you state whatever the narrative is. After that, then you check for feedback. Are they receiving my narrative? So think of this as a loop, it's different stages, and then adjust accordingly. And this is called the OODA loop, if you will, or it's based on the OODA loop, which is observe, orient, detect. So you go see another pilot, you fire at them, you observe, what are they doing? You do, and adjust your strategy. What you see happening with her, if you think about it, is, oh, here's my story. Okay, there's a hole in here. Now they're reacting oddly, or there's more questions. So I need to add some more detail. Let's go loop it again. And you can see this type of thing over the years now, right? Because earlier there were far fewer details, and now she just keeps filling in more and more and more and more to build this narrative. And I think that's why it collapses, because she's gotten to the point of it almost being ludicrous or just crazy. John, you're right. The Australia incident, it's like, okay, so he was holding down your neck, and he was doing something with the bottle with his fingertip cut off. Which hand was holding your neck? Which hand was the bottle? His dominant hand is the one that had the fingertip cut off. Now, that means his dexterity or ability with that hand would be suffering. So if that was the bottle, he'd likely drop it, but then his left hand's probably weaker. He's got a lot going on with a cut off finger and working on her in really bad ways. So it doesn't stand up. And by the way, phones on the wall, I've had a phone on the wall. How in the hell do you cut off your finger? I could see cutting it, slicing it, maybe, like if you're just really going nuts, but I can't see it actually cutting a digit off, not part of it. And I do have experience with a cut off finger. So I can actually relate. And by the way, that helps me to relate too, because when Johnny Depp described the feeling, I had flashbacks. Because if you had asked me, 2 weeks ago, how did it feel? I would have been like, But then as soon as he said Vesuvius, I was like, that's right. It didn't hurt. It felt really, really warm, almost hot. It is just this weird, creepy feeling. And, I was 10 years old, but that's how strong that image was. I was like, it's 100% true. I don't think you're going to get that from a phone.
Well, and I think the other one that just sort of comes to mind, and somebody needs to make a supercut of this. How many times did she say, I never hit him? And then 2 sentences later it goes, well, I hit him, but I was trying to protect myself.
So
I never threw anything at him. And it's like, well, I threw something at him, but I was trying to get away. It's like she just contradicts herself 2 sentences later all the time.
So just because, now I hate doing this. Let me read the super chats, but then I want to give people a clear example of why we don't believe Amber. So, because when we read this article, people are going to call us misogynists. They're going to say, Nate, you guys are just evil people and don't want to believe. So I'm going to play just one clip so you guys can see exactly why we're having problems believing Amber. Let me take down a couple of these super chats. 199 from Claire says, is JD suing for $50 million per count? 150 million plus 350 pun. No, he just sued for 100 million. Well, I mean 50 million. It should be 50 million per count. I miss Windows 7. Believe all women is how you end up with things like Duke Lacrosse and Jackie and the UVA frat. Yes.
And who's Mattress Girl? Mattress Girl would be in that mix too. I don't know if that was
absolutely.
Yes, Mattress Girl too. Lewis McDavid says, hi from Scotland. JD putting himself, family through all of this. Why would he be doing this? AH tried to get him thrown out 4 times. That's true. That's true. Well, she's trying to cancel him. And Hunter's Farmer says, for $2, says, He beat her, she beat him, then clapped cheeks. Interesting. So
that sounds like more of an activity than a crime.
the mutual abuse right there. Moving forward, says the problem with the revolution, it eats the revolutionary. Yes.
That's purity. That's a problem with any kind of fundamentalism and purity is if you go believe in this, first thing you'll notice is they lose a sense of humor and a sense of irony.
Yes.
And they ultimately become like a cult. And if you don't go all the way in with that cult, if you disagree at any point, then you are exiled from that cult. You are ejected from that cult.
Yep. Well, so let me give people an example of what we are talking about when we talk about Amber Heard
push my sister
not being
down the
truthful.
stairs.
Here it is. So this is the stair incident, and you're going to hear Amber's two separate explanations of the event. Here it is. Part one.
He was about to push my sister down the stairs. She was attempting to break us up. I am protective over my baby sister. When he laid hands on her, I don't know what I did, but I know I jumped in between the actions that I saw could lead to a fatal injury to my sister. She was standing on the top of a flight of stairs, and she has never hurt anyone in her life, and she does not deserve to be pushed down the flight of stairs. And it looked like she was about to be. And I would have done what anybody who has a child or a sister would have done. I acted defensively in her life. I saw her standing on top of a flight of stairs and trying to interrupt a fight in between him and I. I don't know what part of my body I put in between me and him and her.
Pause.
But I would have done any.
You realize she's Karen?
Great pause.
Yeah, it is. But that's her. Any point you pause, you're going to see that. You're muted, Nate. But anytime you pause, you get these snarls all the time. But she's Karen. I want to talk to your manager. Any time you come to my table, I expect you to deliver my coffee.
Oh my God.
I don't want lemon in my water. Throw that out.
Oh my God. The ultimate Karen. But that was a great pause. So you guys got to check. Got to give me some props. That pause is that's a thumbnail right there.
Yes, and they're all over. You could randomly hit different points.
And you'll always get that.
That's exactly what you said, Eric.
But I want people to understand what she's saying with this story. She doesn't remember. She doesn't remember anything. She just knows that it happened, but she doesn't even remember hitting Johnny. Listen again. Let's listen to what she's saying.
Anything. I would have done anything to prevent her from being pushed down a flight of stairs.
Now, I think it's important. Let me just go back because
and trying to interrupt a fight.
She makes sure. Listen. Just
I acted defensively in her life. I saw her standing on top of a flight of stairs and trying to interrupt a fight in between him and I. I don't know what part of my body I put in between me and him.
So I don't know what part of the body I put between him. We were on the top of the stairs. I don't know what. I don't know nothing, right? Let's continue.
And her. But I would have done anything. I would have done anything to prevent her from being pushed down a flight of stairs.
Now she's about to be pushed down a flight of stairs. She don't know what happened. She just threw herself in
Look at here's another body language right here. Look, see the raised eyebrows.
Yeah, raised eyebrows. Yes.
This is confirmation glance. We're in the OODA loop, remember? This is confirmation glance. Are you getting it? Are they receiving? I'm telling you, she's a textbook.
So that's the end of that. Now, let's hear what she said at the trial. So this is her at the trial talking about the same incident. So we're going to get her testimony now.
I just remember this brief struggle we had before we kind of break away. Whitney, my sister, all of a sudden put herself in between Johnny and I. She just threw herself like in the line of fire or whatever. She just all of a sudden was there and was trying to get Johnny to stop. Her back was to the staircase and Johnny swings at her.
New fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very new fact. Now all of a sudden Johnny swings at her now. We got a new fact. And very detailed fact. Before I was like, I really didn't remember what happened. I just saw she was next to this, so I threw myself in there. Now but
she still qualified it Didn't you say I really don't remember to start, or I just remember? No, everything is think about it. It's all qualified because right out the gate, her initial statement was, I remember vaguely a brief incident, and then she's getting into more and more details.
Yes. So now, and again, people should understand the timeline here. What we just heard before was 1 year after the event. Now we're about 7 years after the event, and she's more detailed. That generally doesn't happen, but here we go.
And I just see my little sister with her back to the staircase, and Johnny swings at her, and I don't even
now stop.
Wait.
Pause for a second.
Don't even.
I see my sister
Uh-huh.
with her back to. Which
you're thinking about how they're standing to each other. I was thinking the same thing.
Very relevant. I mean, it's like you're telling a narrative. It's like her face, her back, and you know why that's happening?
Because she's making it up,
right? Because she's playing one of the roles, and when somebody's line is saying somebody else is doing what you did, you get confused, and what you're actually describing your position. And you slip, and then you go, oh, got to get the other. She does that a lot. If you really listen, that's the statement analysis side of like, just close your eyes, go get a transcript, and just start reading her text and the little interruptions of, he went, and you see it all the time. I'm sorry to interrupt. You're muted, Nate.
I can mute myself.
I don't hesitate. I don't wait. I just in my head instantly think of Kate Moss and the stairs, and I swung at him. In all of my relationship to date with Johnny, I hadn't landed a blow.
That I believe.
And I, for the first time, hit him.
Because she
dissatisfaction.
Hit him.
She's satisfied. She's happy about that.
But now the issue here is that she's told this fantastical story, a different story, right? That is a different story. It's a different story because at first she didn't even remember Johnny doing any of that. Now all of a sudden Johnny's swinging at her sister, and on top of that, she remembers her hitting before. She was like, I don't remember even hitting him. I just threw my body. Now it's like, no, I swung at him. I remember now. This is why it's hard to believe her story for me personally, because it's extremely convenient that the story has become this story versus what she said before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and Whitney has a third story where Johnny's attacking Amber.
Yes.
Right. Well, the only one I believe in is, I think his name's Travis.
Yes.
Or whatever. And the reason why I think he's so believable is multiple reasons. One, he doesn't oversell anything. Two, and this is really important, he says Johnny was giving as good as he got. So he was talking badly about his own person and being somewhat honest. Three, he is a security guard. His whole job and point in life is to know any threat in any circumstance and what is going on. So by training, he's going to be more naturally observant to what the exact situation is. Nate, you were a cop. Would you trust a cop observing a scene over a civilian observing the same scene just because of the training to determine this detail happened, that detail happened, etc.?
Well, yeah, but you know what? For the security personnel, they are security is what there's three aspects of it: detect, deter, report. So you detect crime, you deter crime, and you report crime. Boom. So his job is to do exactly what he's doing: detect, deter, report. He's supposed to evaluate the scene for safety, and so in those reenactments or recounts, I'm understanding that someone who's trained to do this, to look for these oddities, I'm going to believe more than other people. But I don't want to be callous and not acknowledge the fact that he is being paid by Johnny. So there is a bias there that has to be overcome.
But his testimony wasn't pure Johnny either.
That's true.
That's why I pointed neutral.
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing. I'm definitely agreeing with that. I just think that, just to be fair to both sides, I honestly believe Travis more than anybody else who's telling the story, even Johnny. But I also think, as if you're being, juries are going to also think, well, he's also being paid by Johnny, so there may be something there too. But with Amber and her sister, I think their stories are just so crazy that there's no way I can believe them, because their stories don't even match with each other, right? Their stories supposed to be the same because they're both on the same side. Their stories are so different that it's like The sister's telling one story, and Amber's telling a totally different story. But even with that,
that actually gave me a little bit of faith in the justice system because it shows that the sister was not watching the testimony.
That's true. Or she could have been and she just didn't care. Let me take down some of these super chats. Any chance Johnny Depp? Any chances Johnny Depp winning the case? What do you guys think? Chances for Depp winning?
I don't know, but going by what Rob is reporting, he did a video with Spidey. Everybody check out Behavioral Arts if you get a chance. After you subscribe to Nate and Eric, but they did a great video, and I learned a lot of what was going on at the time because Spotty would do a body language analysis, and then Rob would say the jury wasn't even looking at her at that point, or they were deliberately turned away. They were ignoring her, and some of her reactions, they were pointing out, specifically Rob, how she was looking at two jurors in the back right from the witness box, and then when they weren't engaging, she would shift to the jurors in the front. So she was looking for allies the whole time. And a lot of the time the jury gave a cold shoulder. So at this point, just going by that, and I don't know, legally speaking, I think he still has a hill to climb, but jury wise speaking, like if it's my opinion, I would be tempted to say that most people would say, I just don't believe a damn thing the woman says about anything at all, and I just want to award him because she obviously exaggerated in his defamation. I don't care if you give me every detail, law, whatever. She defamed him. She's a liar. She made his life hell. I don't like her. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it does come down to does the jury like her or hate her? And if they hate her, she's done.
Yeah, it's a classic he said, she said. What do you think, John?
I think it's really tough because you have 12 people, and in Virginia it has to be unanimous.
Well, there's 9 there technically.
9.
Yeah, 9.
And I think there are only going to be
alternates.
6 or 5 who do judge it.
It's 6 that ultimately decide. Yeah. But in any event, I think that unfortunately this might be one of those where you win or lose at voir dire, because if you have one stickler who is listening to the judge's instructions and it's just no, that's not by the technical rules. And this is why I think, I talked to, I think you, Nate, and maybe they split the baby on the headline or something like that to try and get out of there. But if you got a stickler for the law in there, it's gonna be tough, because I think on the law he shouldn't win.
I think for the first headline, I think on the law he should win on the headline if they can get the headline.
If they can prove attribution, but that's a really high level concept that I don't know if the jury's really going into.
But I think even when you get high level, the stupider or the dumber the other side's presentation is, the more likely, because it's like, they're going to, it's like almost the benefit of the doubt type thing. Like, this person's so bad, we're going to give you this one. I think on the other two, though, the abuse ones, I think that those are really problematic. And I agree. I think on the law, those would probably be ones that would go. But I really think his best shot is that, and if I'm predicting or just making a prediction, I think he wins on the title, but I think he may lose on the other two. But I also think he has a chance to win all 3. I think he has a chance to win a table, but that would be my prediction. I think he's definitely going to win on a sexual assault one. The other two, I think those.
It depends if you have that one persnickety juror, and
if they keep him in. If they keep him in, the persnickety one could be tossed. So you even have a little bit of chance with that too, right? We could have. There's apparently, according to Rob, the bottom right corner, the juror closest to Amber can't stand her. And then the reason, the way he describes it is a juror, his side is like this to Amber, and so like when Elaine is talking to Amber, his shoulders are turned like this to Elaine. Amber is over here, and not only that, he does this.
Wow!
So he's just avoiding any sight of her at all, any sight line.
Right, which is not what you want to have as a juror during your direct at all.
Oh yeah,
that is not good. So she's always looking behind him, and that's why some of her movement comes in. I thought that was, again, I really do recommend everybody check that video out, because it's so illuminating. Somebody who's sitting there in the room saying, okay, at this moment, this is what the jury was doing, and taking notes. It's huge, because I'm not there. So all I can do is guess and look at her and say, yeah, that's not right. That's not right. But how the jury responds is huge. And if they're shutting down on her, she's going to double down and get more and more exaggerated. And that's why some of the silliness might come in, is it's the whole Oh, you don't believe me? Well,
what about
people. Yeah. Nate, you just love your mute button, dude.
I'm about to say, am I muted? I was looking. Yeah,
you should just leave it unmuted.
Well, you know what? If you listen, I have like this little rumble in the back because it's the AC. So I'm like, oh, just in case the AC. But the
mic, hear it.
The mic should cover it up. But I'm always scared of the AC being too loud. So I'm just gonna leave it.
You hear it, John?
But
no, I can't hear it.
Yeah, I can't either.
All right, that's good. That's good because that's why I'm like, I bought this good mic. Hopefully not so they can hear it. But so if you guys don't hear it, I'm extremely happy about that. So. Let me take you a couple of more of these super chats. So we all think we have mixed feelings on that one. She also slipped and said, I loosened my grip. Yes, she did. I remember that. Dawn says, has there been any proof of her father abusing her? Could she be lying about him also? They really need to look. They need to look farther into her past and find out if she lied about her father. The sister also has claimed and told other people that the father abused them too.
I think that's true.
I think is a little bit. I think that's true. Yeah.
I think she was okay, there's a difference between a sociopath and a psychopath. I'm not saying she's a sociopath, but she has some tendencies, and that is often through environment. A psychopath is born that way with a personality disorder. They can't help anything, but her actions and the way she reacts to people do to me smack like she was victimized potentially as a child. Because I will say one thing, I don't think Amber Heard is weak in any way. I think that is one tough female, and I think that she may have gotten toughened to an extreme degree, possibly through her background, but I don't know for sure, but that would make sense. And I do kind of believe that Whitney, I think, judging from her, she's definitely much more turtly, much more withdrawn. I think that she also is reacting in another manner. So I think Amber is a punch back type, and Whitney is more of a slightly avoidance, if that makes sense.
It does. Sure. It does. Sergeant Fubar says, I believe Miss Turd if there was real evidence. For some moron who wrote to believe her, why? What evidence does that lying? So to have to prove JD is an abuser. I can't wait till closing. Sergeant Fubar is blanked up beyond all recognition from Tango and Cash. So I do know, and I'm aged into this, so I do know what Fubar means. Yes, I definitely agree. It makes sense. You want to believe evidence, but this person is trying to resurrect the Me Too movement to say, yes, we should believe all women and Amber. And now let's get into the article. First, before we get into the article, I do want to say there is a pinned comment to the channel Nate and Eric. That's me and Eric's channel, and we do viral videos. This is actually being broadcast live on there now. We react to viral videos and things of that nature. So go check that out if you like. We have a couple of videos there that you can check out. We have some videos coming out later today that you can also check out. Link is in both the description and in that pinned comment. So we really appreciate you clicking on that channel and checking it out.
Also, this stream is going to end and continue on that channel. So the sooner everybody heads over there, the better it'll be, because there will be a kind of an abrupt transition, just to let everybody know when Nate cuts
warn everybody. One. Yeah, we'll warn everybody. So here we go. Let's talk about here. Let me put this back on the screen. So why it's time to believe Amber Heard. So let's get into this article. This is by Raven Smith, and she wrote this 2 days ago. So let's hear what she says. So where to begin? With the online cesspit that is Depp v. Heard. Unless you've been living under a rock for the past few weeks, you'll know that the ex-spouses are back in court. Johnny Depp is seeking $50 million after Amber Heard wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post in 2018 in which she spoke of being a victim of domestic abuse without ever explicitly naming Depp. But we all know it was about Depp.
Sure.
The minutiae, being combed through at the trial has come to feel like a lawsuit and more like a torturous exorcism of the past. a thorough and painful raking over the coals of their 4-year engagement. So that's,
by the way, paragraph 1 I'm okay with. That is actually not a terrible description of the trial, the circumstances, everything going around at the circus. It's like, if we stopped right there, I'd be like, okay, fair enough.
Yes. Eric, take it over.
The details of both Depp and Heard's testimonies are harrowing all by themselves, gruesome, violent, and containing deeply intimate anecdotes about their relationship. Broadly speaking, witness testimonies can be persuasive. With 2 actors on the dock, we can never be sure of the absolute truth. Still, despite the fact that London's High Court previously found found allegations that Depp was a, quote, wife blank to be substantially true, the internet appears to have overwhelmingly picked Depp's side. Last week, justice for Johnny Depp was trending on Twitter. Yesterday, it was Amber Turd. Not just yesterday. You've been behind. It's been trending for like 3 weeks or so, very comfortably.
So this person's giving us a lot of background, right, about what the trial is, how she feels about it, so forth, right? We get a lot of background noise into this. So I don't actually disagree with any of this, right? This is all, giving us, putting us in the thing. But I do like how it says London's High Court previously found allegations of Depp as a wife beater to be substantially true. That I think, that's in there, but it's true, and it's giving us some context. So how do we get from where we're at now to believe Amber and believe all women? Hopefully I'm hoping they'll say, we have, we should believe this evidence, right? Here's the evidence that shows that Amber's telling the truth and why we should believe her. But I'm not sure if the article's going to go into that. So here is the next paragraph. Going on social media, and the anti-Heard sentiment is palpable. The memes have been ferocious, sometimes consisting of a spot the difference comparison with domestic abuse victims. At other times, televised courtroom footage has been appropriated to openly mock her appearance.
Mm-hmm.
It is plainly misogyny. You got the misogyny word popped out. The company behind the makeup compact Heard used to hide her bruises even made a TikTok disputing her claims.
Claimed to use. I would
put in there, by the way. They're asserting that she actually did, which the company disputes because it didn't exist at the time.
In the same statement about the company denying it. So this is some brilliant journalism, folks. Think about that for a second. We're just going to assert a fact, absolutely not in evidence here, as if it's just known. But you got to watch this stuff. Go on. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're getting close to it here. Heard is being systematically jeered at and ridiculed like a medieval criminal in the stocks as she catalogs historic abuse, and she alleges blank.
By the way, she catalogs means that she's stating facts. Alleges is that. So this is interesting. So the writer themselves is uncertain of the level if you just read this against statement analysis, but it's interesting.
And by the way, what is the system doing this?
Yeah, it's not the system
systematic.
Yeah,
it's an organic reaction to her behavior.
Yeah.
The last sentence here is, have we completely lost track of the severity of these allegations?
No, and that's why she's being jeered. That is exactly why she is being ridiculed, mocked, trashed, because everyone understands the severity of the allegations. They know of victims or have heard about victims and are concerned about victims, and they say, here's somebody. It's not dissimilar to stolen valor. People who like to wear a military uniform and walk around as if they were in the military and a war hero.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or how about people who fake cancer, Nate? You've had one of those who say, I had cancer and all that. Why do we despise them even more than somebody who robbed a 7-Eleven because they're having problems with the family? Because they're taking something that harms so many people and is so horrible or has so much honor, like the military or whatever, and just besmirching it, just trashing it. That is why...
Precisely because it's taken seriously is why we have such a visceral reaction to it. And again, it's a simple idea. The extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And we're just not finding that.
These are pretty extraordinary claims. Let me take down some of these super chats before they get backed up on us. Johnny Depp's winning. We did that one. Here's another $2 one. She slipped and said, "I loosened my grip." We saw that one. Baby sister sounds like she's 2, not 30. She does. That's true. Acting coach. She Whitney, can't cry while acting.
Remember Whitney, Johnny Depp. Now, I'm for some reason I'm very fascinated about the relationship with Whitney and Johnny Depp. But when Johnny Depp testified, he said Whitney, she really had she didn't have like Amber, the ability to go whatever, and so he's almost like a caretaker of her. And if you watch her testimony, it's really interesting watching Johnny's reactions because one, he actually looks at her in the eyes. Yes. He watches her. He's not looking down. That's significant because Johnny's always looking down, but he's watching. And his look is, dare I say, concern. But I don't feel like it's concern of she's saying bad things about me, but kind of concern of, is she okay? And I don't know why, but it really reads that way. And his earlier testimony of her too. And it's just, Whitney feels very, I hate to use the term broken, but that's kind of the way they represent, like she's really, really been hurt. And they're careful about her.
If you think about what Whitney has said, she's been abused by her father, and then she's allegedly said she's been abused by her sister. So she could be a victim of domestic abuse from her sister and be in the same situation as any other abuse victim would be, right? It's hard to challenge your abusers. It's hard that people are going to believe you, and we can see that kind of materializing it from even her actions toward Amber, right? There's a video of her having bruises on her, and people saying, well, is it Amber who did that? So there's a lot. I think there's a lot in the background that may be causing this. Let me take down a couple of more of these super chats before we get back to the story. I believe all women, the women who say Depp did it and the women who say he didn't. How to do that is an exercise left to the reader. Yes, Barry is very, very good point. Nicole and Mark said, she used the same photo for evidence for something that happened in 2015 and then again for the incident that happened before the order she got. Yes. They brought that out of trial. Camille Vasquez, still lawyer of the year. She might get lawyer of the decade for that cross.
Her and Corey and Kyle Rittenhouse. Great process.
Great. Yes. They won those trials. Corey definitely won that trial. Johnny swings, and I don't hesitate to Goku instant transmission between them. Yes. It's hard to believe because it just doesn't make any sense. Morning Forward says the recording of Amber begging Johnny not to leave her when he saw his daughter bothers me. She was in pain. She needs help. My heart bleeds for her.
I actually agree with this. I agree with this. The problem is that I do think Amber needs help, and I would be very sympathetic toward Amber if she was not dragging him through the coals. If she had quietly, hopefully she does seek therapy. Hopefully she does seek all the help that she needs. I do think she's troubled, but don't drag somebody with you. That's my big issue. I would tell everybody to leave her the hell alone if she wasn't doing this. She is bringing it out there. If she didn't write the article, none of this happened. None of this. This is 100% her going and doubling down and going after him and not letting it go. If she let it go and sought help, I have a feeling he might have even helped her. It's just a gut feeling.
Vicky says Whitney said JD came up the stairs and hit her Jen Lovo Monday for the rebuttal. Stefan says up to now the defense has had 10 hours more than the plaintiff, and the majority believe Depp in Depp's side. That's true, and that's a problem.
That's saying a lot.
For Joey says someone drops Vogue's team a link to the Fairfax County website where they can find all the exhibits from the case. They obviously need it. Well, that's what I'm saying. And this is the last one before we get back. We have two more before we get back to the article. This one says, thoughts of any holes on the JD side that might be troubling. there are some holes on the JD side that I think he has to still overcome. He still has to overcome the mutual abuse narrative, because they're saying he's got some, both the doctor said, what's it called? He gave as good as he got.
And Travis said that exactly.
Travis said he gave as good as he got. So I think that hurts the abuse claim a lot, because you got two people who are independent saying they gave as good as they got, meaning that there may have been some back and forth. But I think the sexual assault piece of it is the piece that he wins on, because there's been no evidence, and all the evidence that he's shown that he's abused or even a sexual assault happened, I think he's got that in spades. Let me get this.
That's the overcoming though aspect of it. Remember, if they hate her enough, they'll forgive those little bumps, because they're like, you know what, 8 out of 10 words out of her mouth are a lie. So who's to say that the last 2 aren't as well?
Thank you, King Siri. And this is a big one from Michael. Yeah. This is my first SC to see you. I'm saying SC. Super chat to you. Thank you for all your work. Can't wait for rebuttal. I'm expecting some bombs from JDC and still want evidence. Yes. I don't think they're done providing how much it's a problem. That's true. They have an expert for metadata still, I think. I'm not sure. Do you? I'm assuming Amber. You're talking about Amber. Does Amber still have an expert for metadata?
On how to hide it?
I think that he might have been referring to JD's team, trying to bring up the fact that they didn't turn over a lot of the metadata, and a lot of it was kind of spoiled.
Yes.
But they already had a computer expert, so I don't know if it would be duplicative in rebuttal.
Yeah. We will definitely say. All right, let's get back to this article. Thank you, Michael, for the super
but by the way, that was pounds, dude. That was like real money. Not American dollars. That's like British pounds. So thank you.
Backed by the good Bank of England. All right, so here we go back to the article. Let me just find it. All right, so now we have. We all understand that Depp fans will side with Depp, obviously, yeah. But even the less aggressively Depp-pilled.
I like that. No, this is
pilled. Oh, you know what? Eric, take it over.
Okay, but even the less aggressively Depp-pilled of us want to believe the Caribbean pirate is blameless, if not squeaky clean, then at least under duress of drug addiction and acting out of character, that his violence can be somewhat explained away by a lapse of judgment or circumstance, or both. We certainly don't want to believe that this entire court case is precise and conniving operation in discrediting Heard, regardless of what she has to say, regardless of her truth. I hate her truth. Depp-pilled is a deliberate dig at saying that he's coming from the right wing, because red-pilled is associated with the right, very specifically men's rights movements, because the movie The Red Pill by Cassie J came out, and it talked a lot about men's rights, men being abused, and all of this going. So that was a very deliberate subliminal dig in there, if you will.
Yeah. It's interesting, because I think this last part, regardless of her truth, right? This is crazy. Convening operation and discrediting her. That's what the trial is about, right? This last sentence is what the trial is about. We certainly don't want to believe that this entire court case is a precise and convening operation to discredit her. Conniving operation to discredit her. That's exactly what a court case is.
Yeah, right? I was gonna say
she's making allegations, and they're trying to discredit these allegations to prove that she defamed Johnny. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's interesting because it's almost flipping what I believe the actual purpose that Depp's team had was to vindicate him. It was not, necessarily you're going to have to discredit her, but they're ascribing motivations, I think, backwards. I think it genuinely was about trying to clear his name in a public forum.
Right. Well, take out the word conniving, take out everything after the comma and Heard, and then you have a proper sentence.
Yeah, because this part I think is the part that gets it, is that regardless of what she has to say, regardless of her truth,
her truth is not the truth.
Yeah. So this is where we're going now. So she's laying the groundwork for this. Let's just believe her. I don't want to think about what this is saying to victims of abuse who are considering coming forward. So this is now the full narrative. We're going full circle with this, right? What about the other victims who we know are telling the truth. So should we believe this one who's not telling the truth? So the ones who are telling the truth can come forward. I don't think this argument works. I just don't think this argument works.
That's a specious argument.
And regardless of what her did or didn't suffer at the hands of Depp, this is important. This sentence, and regardless of what her did or did not suffer at the hands of Depp. So this essentially means if Depp was innocent, let's say Depp did nothing. So let's take that because she's saying regardless of it. So let's say Depp did nothing. He's totally innocent. Isn't the relentless memeing of her a form of violence itself?
So she is saying that we, who are sharing memes and things like that, we are committing violence against Amber Heard.
Wow.
So Johnny Depp may or may not, doesn't matter, but the internet is abusing her. The internet,
everybody's abusing her.
And by the way, somebody pointed out in the chat, this is no longer a left-right thing. I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Red Pill, and somebody pointed out Red Pill's Matrix. Yes, the original source of Red Pill was the Matrix, but it was adopted for the men's right movement. A lot of things there, and that was the allegation there. But they are trying to frame it as a left-right thing. Authors like this of the article, they're trying to make it a right-wing conspiracy or things like that.
We're committing the violence. We are committing the people in the chat and us who are watching the trial and evaluating the evidence are she's saying that we're committing violence because if we believe the evidence and the evidence says she's a liar, we can't ridicule her. We can't say, yes, all the evidence points that you're a liar. That's what they're saying. We are not allowed to challenge because if we do, we're committing violence. Right. This is insane.
Well, but Nate, you forget that critical thinking is antithetical to believe all women.
You guys are killing me. It's just I don't know how this becomes so crazy.
Hey, yeah, you've seen it before. There's a template, Nate. BLM loves juicy.
That's true. The juicy small. It's just like why jump the shark? $10 super chat says, have you guys seen the video showing one of Amber's lawyers signaling the Twitter expert guy not to answer the question? He does look over quickly to the lawyer and tries to deflect the question. I didn't see that. Do you guys remember that?
I don't. Honestly, I most of the trial I listen to because I'm doing other things and I can't get a chance to really look at what's going on. And maybe I pick up things because of that, because I'm always listening. I hear the words and not necessarily see their expressions.
This one says, Lightgiver says, Johnny had a look of compassion, confusion, and sadness looking at Whitney. I actually teared up. Oof, wow. Yeah, but again, I'm always of that fear. Johnny is like a fantastic actor. He's one of the best actors in the world. I'm just hoping that we're not falling into the trap of believing the actor. In my opinion, the sisterhood has flipped. Women are no longer defending the generic lost lambs that trigger femininity. They are defending their boys who did no wrong. The female of the species is more deadly.
I can see that. And you've probably, being a lawyer, seen that, Nate, where some of your defendants who may or may not have been guiltier than some, that their mother's like, no way, never happened. Sorry, I don't care what you say. My boy never did that.
That's true. Yes. Because it's the opposite way away. And Ansley says 9 jurors total, 2 get dismissed, 7 will decide. All right. So now we got an accurate count of the jury pool. Thank you. So here we go. So now let's continue on with this article. It says, is the pummeling by social media not a type of psychological assault? So now we're a form of violence and memeing her. Now we're talking about psychological assault. These are very, very high type buzzwords. Well, let me just read this last one. Are we not witnessing a modern day witch trial? Wow.
By the way, okay. Oh, wow. God. There's so much in this because I do believe that social media and everything else can harm people. There's a wonderful book called So You've Been Publicly Shamed by John Ronson. Highly recommend everybody check it out. And he talks up, was it Janine Sacco? Anyway, remember the one who said, I'm going to Africa. I hope I don't get a disease that killed people in the 80s. Just kidding. I'm white. and or something like that, right? It was a horrible, terrible Justine Sacco joke. And while she was flying around the world, it actually went viral on Twitter, and you had hashtag has Justine landed, and her entire life was taken away from her, ruined. You know, she lost her job, lost everything, and everybody piled on. So there are pile-ons, and I think that that one could qualify as a pile-on. But the problem I have with this argument, because they're borrowing something that happened to other people that is horrible, is again, who wrote the article and put it in the Washington Post? Who attacked somebody who had already paid millions of dollars, had moved on, was trying to do whatever he was doing in his life and get it in order? Who drug him into the scene? Amber. So Amber is getting a backlash from what she did. And could she have stopped at different points? We have an audio of him saying, stop this. You've got to stop this. And she's saying, you do it, Johnny. You take it in front of a jury. This is a reaction to her. I don't believe it's a pile-on.
Yeah, I agree. We're reacting to what we're hearing. And this is not, and they want to make it seem like we are making things up to just not believe her. And that's why I think John said earlier, you know, it's like they haven't even looked at the case. They're just coming to this conclusion that we're all horrible people who want to hurt Amber Heard in some way, which is just not accurate at all. It's not.
And I think that's part of the problem. And it's exactly what Eric said, is that she sort of, you know, loosed the wind and she's reaping the whirlwind. It's just, that's the reality of this. And, you know, if what she was saying were true or rang true or had any sort of validity to it, or if it weren't so full of holes, then it wouldn't be happening. But look, if you put yourself out, this is the nature of being a public figure. I think I have a lot more sympathy to private individuals that get the internet's wrath brought upon them than a public individual who tried to benefit from a movement and it backfired. That's my sort of bottom line when it comes to why this is happening.
I want to get in Tammy's quick super chat here from Canada. Tammy says, I'm a female survivor of SANDV. Logic and emotion both have me identifying with Johnny. This time, believe women are humans who can also be abusers. Wonderful super chat. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for sharing your story with us. But yeah, that's unfortunately, it seems like that's what this article's struggling with. The fact that women can be abusers. Eric, take it away.
Oh, some weeks the internet is buoyant. All of us kept afloat by the daft dresses and Kardashian weddings and Marvel actors saying they've never been in the same room. Other weeks, it just feels too heavy. We're watching people actively seek out humor in domestic abuse as Roe v. Wade is terrorized by pro-lifers, and as we see yet more episodes of racially aggravated violence. We'll rally. We always rally. But right here, right now, it feels shit.
So
okay, this is objectively
and people are saying, what are you talking about? No,
to tie these things together is absolutely insulting.
No, they're not saying it's a right-wing thing at all, right? Because, you know, pro-lifers and come on. Yeah, it's just
so all the anti-abortion people now are against Amber Heard now too, right? So now we got Roe v. Wade.
If you're pro-abortion, you should be pro-Heard. I just
this is crazy.
Oh my God!
This is insane.
I don't know. We have one person in the chat for Amber, so that's good.
All right, that's good news.
Mike Bruno. Of course, Mike is usually on the opposite side of just about anything I say. So.
By the way, Roe v. Wade is terrorized by, you know, a pending Supreme Court decision. That's an interesting way to frame the legal process.
It was kind of weird. Hold on one second. All right, so this obviously is coming from a very left-wing source, but it just is what it is. It's like, what? All right, so Eric, can you take this?
Sure. I spend a lot of time wondering if everyone's lost the plot. If the erosion of empathy we see online has rendered us so inherently unkind as a species that there's no return. I don't want to despair for humanity. I want to believe that some of us are offline and mildly compassionate, or compassionate in a way that doesn't get tweeted about, that you're all out there being nice to each other, and I'm reporting on a tiny cluster of internet users with pitchfocks. I'm sorry, I can't help but slip the sarcasm. I can't help it. It just seeps out. I'm trying. I can't help it. It's the words don't flow unless I read it dramatically.
Oh my God.
But is she actually writing this unironically?
That's my. What did I tell you? So. What did I tell you about purity? When you get into purity, the first thing you lose is a sense of irony, and the second is a sense of humor, because they go together. This is completely unironic. Did they just say this?
we are essentially just supposed to close our eyes, take Amber's side, and unless there's like overwhelming evidence, like videotape confessions that she's lying, then we're supposed to seemingly, if you say anything negative about her, it's essentially a witch trial. This makes no sense. It just doesn't. It just doesn't.
She's making a kind of ridiculous commentary on society as a whole. It's like, when was the last time you were on the internet? This has been the case for decades now, in terms of, shit posting and all of that. Like, that's always been the case.
This is a British Vogue too, by the way. So we're talking about the place of paparazzi who chase princesses into their death. So yeah, I'm going to listen to that side of the pond.
Oh God!
And let's close out on the final paragraph. Though I felt myself veering towards it, I can no longer both sides this. It's time to draw a line. It is time to believe women, all women. It is time to believe Heard. The British courts believed Depp beat his ex-wife. What's stopping the rest of us?
Facts and reason. There.
My own lying eyes.
So that is Vogue. So what do you guys think about the article?
Nothing surprising from the source.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty horrible.
Well, it could be the Young Turks, but I like to see it spread around so you don't have to pick on just
no
one
idea
source.
How the conclusion was actually built up by our prior reportage.
Well, this is more an emotional argument. She's trying to get the emotion of the reader. She's trying to say, here's the past history. This is the way it was. Most people know. So that's kind of where they're going with this, right? And I think that's where this is failing, because I think most women know women lie, right? If you're a woman, you're like, yeah, we lie, but there's a reasoned balance, right? And like we were talking about before, when it comes to testimony and things of that nature, initially when you tell me something, if I have no reason to disbelieve you, I'm going to believe you at that moment. But then when the evidence comes in and things are showing that what you're saying may be bunk, then I'm going to be less likely to believe you based on what we have, right? It's not kind of like I'm believe you no matter what. This is not like I'm believing in God, right? I believe no matter what God says, I'm going to believe it, right? I think most people would say that. But it's like most people, I'm just not going to believe you.
How about trust but verify? That's not a bad one. If they come forward, you should take any accusation seriously and investigate it thoroughly and then draw a conclusion. I think that's a very reasonable standard. Anybody who makes a serious allegation, it needs to be investigated. Period.
Eric, you're making way too much sense. That's the problem right here, is that she's trying to draw a little bit of, a handful of trolls about this one specific case. And where she goes totally off the rails is she turns this into an entire societal diatribe about Roe v. Wade, Black Lives Matter, the incivility of society. And it just, that's the way that you do it. You take a small thing and you turn it into, this is the problem with the entire worldview. And
it's a movement. This is the movement. Yep, no, you're right. This is the movement. The Diana B says, "What's the point?" This is good. So let's do some rapid fire chat so we can get these down. What's the point of an appeal to these people then? An appeal bringing up more truth at times. An appeal. Well, I think if Amber loses, she's definitely going to appeal. I would appeal because it's a defamation case. You may
unless he wins like a $1 settlement, which I've not completely ruled out. The whole
that's true.
If the jury awarded him $1 and said, you win,
he's a liar,
that would, I think, be a giant win for him. I don't know. She probably still would appeal it because I feel like from her previous action, she's someone who cannot let it go or let anything go, and it could be terrifying.
Yes, that's true. The UK trial didn't find the allegations to be true. They found that the paper didn't have any reason to believe that it wasn't true. And that is a very good point. That's essentially why he can't sue the papers here. Have you seen any of the body language experts going over Amber Heard and crossing her lies? Yes.
Yeah, on my channel.
Yes. Every single one. Yeah, goes up to Eric Spidey, the behavioral panel. They all are every unanimously. All the body language experts are saying this is bunk. As a feminist premise, if we believe women can take on traditional masculine roles, then it logically follows that women can be abusive. Thanks for the content. Of course, Vicky, you're 100% spot on. Alex says it's an opinion piece based on opinions of one person who did not look at the facts. It's a horrible piece. Yeah, this is an opinion piece from someone who has an uninformed opinion. Misogyny, it's idiocracy to believe someone just because they have a vagina when all the evidence points to them being an abuser. I agree 1,000%. But again, their argument is believe the gender, don't believe the facts and evidence. And I think that's the issue that we're drawing upon here. Would love to stay, listen, but too many trolls, bots stating lies and facts and being hateful, and mods not doing their job. Oh, Crystal, I'm so sorry.
I just promoted a mod on Nate and Eric. We're gonna be going over there in a minute, but Busha is in there like a sniper, just going boom, boom, boom. I'm seeing them right now. A few timeouts.
Right. Oh, do we have anything on the other channel? I didn't see.
Yeah, we're at 520, so I'm hoping that the people shift in as we wrap up, because I know we're going to cut the first one down.
But I was looking to make sure we don't have any issues on the Nate the Lawyer channel. If so, let me do this. Let me kill them right now.
Go to subs only.
I'm doing it. That's what I'm doing. Sure. Subs only, any duration, and we're gonna slow it down to 15 seconds, and that should take care of most of. And there are mods in the chat like Sokka. So if anybody sees anything, Sokka, yeah, the mods are in the chat, and they handle it really good. So all right, Crystal. Sorry you had a bad experience. Maybe next time. Good luck. All right. This one says the UK ruling was based on perjury. She stated that she donated $7 million in charity. The judge ruled that wasn't the actions of a gold digger. Yes, and that's why she's being looked into perjury for the.
What I wonder is if that is found to be true, and if the judge's decision was based in enough of a part on that, what would that render on that original decision?
Well, I think they can go back and look at decisions, but this is going to be interesting because the perjury issue is really just focused in on the donating versus pledging. The judge in his ruling did say that she didn't have any motivation because she had donated the money. So
that's a huge statement.
It was part of his reasoning about the donating the money. Yeah. If you enlarge the photo of Amber Heard in the bathroom, you will see that it is makeup under her eye, which has run and streaked, not bruising. Interesting. I haven't done a critical analysis of this. And this one is the last one before we get back to the article. Some people just want the power of the man privilege of a woman, the accountability of a child. I'm not sure. I think if you think about this rationally, previously there was an issue with women being believed and the sexual assault piece to it, but I think now it was different in 1990 than it is today, and I think everybody recognizes that presumptively the media and everybody kind of believed Amber, but now with the evidence it's hard to believe. So they want to continue to make it a gender-based thing in that article, but it's not. It's now an evidence-based thing, and I think that's what this person's struggling with. She's trying to turn it back into gender when it just isn't. You know what I mean?
Well, purity, 100% narrative. Women are always right.
Yes,
men are always evil. On and on.
The thing is, once you take it out of the abstracts, we're not there anymore. We have actual evidence to look at.
Yes. Here we are. Let's move to the New York Times. So we're going to move to New York Times, but just so everybody knows, in about 30 minutes, we're going to be moving strictly to Nate and Eric. I want to give everybody time. We're going to try to read out most of your super chats. Whatever we can't catch here, we're going to catch over there. to Nate and Eric before we end out. So remember, 30 more minutes. Please click the link in the description. Go on over there to Nate and Eric, and we're going to end the show over there. So
and subscribe while you're there, folks. We're trying to fill that up and get YouTube to grace us with their love. But we've submitted it for monetization, and we're hoping that it comes through. So the good part is the Nate and Eric part will be 100% free.
Oh yeah. Here is, so now we are looking at.
It's a pinned comment, Valeria. Anyone who wants to go over now, it's a pinned comment in the chat. If you're on Nate the Lawyer.
Yes, look at it, and it's in the description. So just click the link in the description. So this is the New York Post, May 18th. They see Amber Heard calling Depp back to the stand could be risky, experts say. Now, they say they have a source close to the Heard that told Post last week that Aquaman actress legal team may plan to have Depp testify again. They argue her side in the ongoing courtroom battle in Fairfax. Now, E! News is also reporting that they have a source saying that they will be called. Let me add this to the stream. And this is the New York Post article. So, thoughts about, now, New York Post, for everybody who doesn't understand, has been extremely, and I mean extremely, pro-Amber. Pro-Amber. But what do you think? Do you think, I'll throw this to John. John, what are the risks of calling Johnny Depp for Amber Heard's team?
The practical reality is that after the absolute train wreck of Amber's testimony, we're going to now bring the charismatic Johnny Depp back that everybody seems to relatively like and remind the jury how much they liked him, and then draw a second comparison between the two of them. I mean, I don't know what they're going to try and extract from him other than give him more of their time to plead his case.
Yeah, like Eric, it's like, was Johnny really that good on the stand? Like Eric, because Eric, you're not an attorney. Like when he was on the stand and you saw him, what did you think?
He was either extremely good or Rottenborn was very bad. I don't know how to put it, but he survived the cross. And okay, now I'm going to get people getting pissed, but Amber likes to filibuster. So did Johnny.
Yes.
Rottenborn did not take control in the cross like Camille did. Camille said, no. And Rottenborn didn't know how to deal with him, and he let Johnny just talk circles around him. There were times that I was going, Johnny, yes or no? Where's the answer? We're 2 minutes into this, so I'm confused. But overall, he came off as believable. He came off as, telling the general narrative. Obviously, he's self-serving. Everybody in this courtroom, I hope, is self-serving, or they're a maniac. Amber Heard tries to play that she's not, that she cares about Whitney and others, but she's self-serving too. I mostly have a question of, will the judge allow it? I mean, because it seems kind of unfair now on the almost like a sandbag. Like the plaintiff did not call her. They waited until she did her direct, and then they did a cross, much the same way as Johnny did a direct, and then there was a cross. Is this seen as a good maneuver or a dirty move? I mean, will the jury interpret as that doesn't seem weird, right?
I mean, he was on notice because when he finished, they told him that he was subject to recall. So, it's not like it's total sandbag. I just don't know what they're trying to get out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
they don't have much time though. They better operate fast.
And he speaks slow.
Oh, good point.
Because that's the problem here, is the time issue, right? The time issue is the problem. If they just don't have the time, I don't see what happens when they don't have the time. They literally just don't have the time, especially a slow talking witness that you're trying to get on as a hostile witness who's going to elaborate on every it's how long you going to keep them up there too.
That's
brilliant. I'm just wondering if there's if they have some sort of a bomb in their back pocket that they're trying to bring up, but I can't see at this stage. It's too deep into the trial. There's nothing that's going to surprise anyone now.
Unless Johnny said, yeah, I did it, right? He's got to see that. That's the only thing that surprised me. Like, oh, okay. But
I don't see that one happening.
All they did was talk to him about drugs. I mean, that was part of the problem too, is it's like the one thing I got out of Johnny Depp's testimony is he likes doing drugs and drinking.
But also, I think we haven't even talked about the other aspect of calling him as a hostile. which is the cross-examination by his team. His team is going to be on cross now. So now they can literally give him open-ended questions, right? So in other words,
in his mouth.
Yeah, it's just so you don't have to have him thinking about what to say. You can literally just dictate. Listen, Johnny, only thing you got to do is say yes, and I'm going to walk through the narrative. Isn't it true she punched you in the face? Isn't it true? Like, you just walk it right through it. And plus, you have all this time.
Oh yeah, good point.
Well, you almost get to use Johnny Depp as a foil to give a second summation.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
Good point, Nate. Jeez, yes.
Yeah.
So
and the slow talking on the direct, that's brilliant, John. So everything he says would be like, well, I didn't even think about that. How he could turn a 1 hour questioning into 3.
Like, is your name?
I would tell him, take your time, think about the questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no rush.
Yeah. Is your name Johnny? I was born in Kentucky in 19 such. My mother wanted to name me Ben, but my
objection. He's not answering, Mr. Answer my question.
Keep objecting to yourself, Rottenborn. Good luck.
Mr. Rottenborn, I don't know what's your question. Can you ask it again? It's like, and
where
you go
did he
through all
go?
that. And we're like, this is the first question.
You could burn their entire clock if you wanted to.
We're an hour and a half back. We don't know what we're going to do. This super chat from Danny. Some people just want the power. We already read this one. Sorry about that. But thank you. Thanks again, Danny, for the super chat. Women are abused at greater numbers, yes. But when men are abused, they are consistently disbelieved.
True.
So disbelieved women, disbelieved men. Bronxites. Even with giving as good as he got, her claims make it sound like he's predatory and intent on abusing her. Giving as good as he got sounds more like participating in a fight that already started. Yes.
By the way, if she argued that, now let's go back, and I'm just gonna pretend I'm Amber Heard. What if, as Amber, I said my argument is, I hit him, I feel bad about it, he hit me, we were always fighting. It was a really bad relationship. I felt trapped. I felt in this. We finally got the divorce. We just can't be around each other because we tear each other up. Where's this case?
That might give you 2 of 3 because you still have the essay headline.
But I didn't write the headline. The newspaper chose the headline. The editor did, and there was even 2 versions of it because they changed it the next day for the paper. So I don't necessarily. I don't approve. It doesn't matter. I don't approve it. Ultimately, the editor approves the headline. I didn't write the headline. I can argue all day long, and if the editor, who I already turned my work over because I have submitted to a publication before. You don't have control over that headline. The editor has that control over the headline. You can bitch about it, but you really don't have the control.
She had control over whether she was going to retweet it.
That's the issue. That's the issue. She had control over whether she was going to retweet it, and she did retweet it, and that's what got her caught up. That's what got her caught up. Let me continue on. Let me get a couple of more of these before we get too backed up, and then.
But hold on, wait. Just a retweet. Did she say this is all true? Did she say, because a retweet does not necessarily constitute, and a lot of people's Twitter accounts even say that, that a retweet does not constitute agreement.
All right, so it doesn't have to constitute agreement. The way republication works is that let's say if somebody says a defamatory statement, I don't know if it's true or not, and then I say it again, I have republished it. I'm telling other people. So the law allows you to get the person who's republishing the defamatory statement just as if they were the person who said it. So in this case, the fact that she took it and sent it to other people, that's essentially, that is republication. But you don't have to accept what's in there. You just have to say.
You're talking about The Wire, though. Republishing and tweeting, I would argue, are 2 different things. And I'm coming from a technological perspective. If I'm the AP or I'm a newspaper in New York and I write an article, and then Arizona prints that entire article, that's a republication.
No, you're
saying
talking about
watch this or read this is not saying here's an article, here's a path.
You don't understand. Well, the difference between maybe the colloquial publication and legal republication. Legal republication is saying even if I take what you said and I've told it to somebody else, that's republication. It doesn't have to be in a newspaper. It doesn't have to be. It's literally me telling me if I say Eric said blah 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 and repeated the defamatory statement, I have republished it. Even it could be to one person, it doesn't have to be to everybody.
Okay, the quote is saying, okay, hold on, the chat may be correcting me. It's not a retweet. They're saying it's a quote tweet.
And it was a quote
which
tweet.
adds, but now adds ownership of it though.
But even that, I still think you have in spades without even the quote retweet. The fact that because that's in the trial, they had asked, you saw the article, you retweeted it with the headline. So that is textbook republishing. Now it's interesting because anybody else who republished it wouldn't be in trouble because we have the actual malice standard. So you wouldn't have that because you would say, well, I've trusted that they looked at their sources, just like they're saying we looked at the sources. We have a first person account, and so nobody else who retweeted, but a republisher would get still nailed.
A republisher definitely would get nailed.
No,
that's why there's
no. You're wrong. If I republished it, I could take that tweet and republish it right exact now. I couldn't get nailed because I don't have any actual malice, right? Because
hold on, Arizona,
she's a first person account.
Remember my analogy about the republishing, because I do know that they've gone after different publications and nailed them for republishing the same article, for picking it up, because they have to do their own due diligence.
Yes,
this is the problem I have, is because you have a publisher, you have a person, you have the 301 or whatever that's called. I think it gets very confusing.
It does, but the simple legal premise is if a defamatory statement is said and then you say it again, you have republished it. Without the technical how you did it is one thing, but that is the premise, and that's the premise that John, again, all first year, any first year law student, when they learn about defamation, one of the issues is republication. Let me move on to a couple more of these super chats before we get too backed up and then head back. So Russell Wong says Instagram has come forward with another honeypot pic showing JD's black eye. The one Amber Heard said was photoshopped. Oh yeah, that was a crazy one. Raven Smith is a man. Okay, I didn't know that. Vogue is allowing this article in the hope of getting a feature in the aftermath of the case.
She's got a new team.
Article.
She's got a new team working for her, and I think that you're seeing the results of some of that.
This case is a perfect example of why men are reluctant to come forward. You are less of a man if you are abused and are demasculated publicly and are less likely to be believed. I think that you should add that to that, Nicholas. Another live stream designed to bash Amber. Yes, this was definitely designed to bash Amber, or to actually just read the articles that are saying believe her even without the evidence.
No, you don't want to discuss our 3-hour strategy session on how to bash. We were all hanging out on a Zoom call saying,
yeah, this is how we're going to bash.
We're part of the PR team.
Yeah, I'm basically 100% with Johnny, but if you don't believe the internet is piling on Johnny's side with this case, look harder. This trial is content. Yes, I agreed 100%. And again, I was eviscerated when I first went on stream saying that, hey, Johnny's probably going to lose. It looks like it's a loser. But again, I've looked at the evidence and I'm coming to a different conclusion based on the evidence. And that's how we all do all these trials, right? So,
well, she's trying to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. I think she walked in with a winner.
Yeah. And she's losing. Yeah. I think she walked in with a winner and is walking out as a loser. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it comes out later that Amber Heard had something to do with this article.
Her new PR team damn sure did.
They're working overtime. My youngest sister was an abuser. Her husband, my youngest sister was an abuser. Her husband, like Johnny, would lock himself in the bathroom. We finally, after 3 years, convinced him to divorce her. 30 years later, my sister is still mean. Light giver. Ugh. Is your sister Amber? The writer is male, I think. Yes, we found out. Well, everybody's saying Raven is male. Have you read the NBC op-ed? And where the author argues the notion of mutual abuse is an oxymoron. It is a good read. We'll check that out. This is Saka, my brother from another mother. I believe the person who wrote this is male. Yes, the person is. Media says not to believe your lying eyes or ears. No, it says to believe her. Not all Brits are bad. Eric.
No, especially you, Michael Gaunt. You threw down cash. You automatically bought goodwill in our heart.
Body language experts say Amber Heard is full of the stuff she left on Johnny's bed. Yes. The absolute gall of the claims to invoke witch hunt, which in context of cancel culture And Me Too shows a staggering lack of self-awareness. This one, according to the article, we are no longer to believe Joe. We are to believe Jodi Arias, and Casey Anthony. Yes, Nate, logic is all or nothing. Yes, Nate's logic is all or nothing. I am an all or nothing logic person. It's either going to make logical sense or it doesn't. If it breaks that, I'm less likely to believe you, Mike. If it's unlike that, I'm more likely to believe you. No message, just thanks for what you do. Thank you, CJ. $1, a small correction. It's a guy who wrote this. Thank you. We have found out Raven is a guy. The English courts didn't find he hit Heard. They found the newspaper could reasonably believe he had that. The best defense I have for the decision. Yes. Yeah. So that. But again, it was the sun that was suing them. Buck 99. We choose truth over facts. Joe Biden 2020. Okay, Mike. As a person with BPD, I respectfully disagree that her crying and begging JD when he wanted to see his daughter sounds like emotional manipulation. Thank you, Dawn. Yes, it did. That was a horrible piece of tape for her to be played in front of the jury. YouTube has come out TYT has come out pro Depp. Not all lefts are falling for her. That's true. I saw that video where they did come out as pro Depp and said they don't. The Young Turks don't believe Amber Heard, which is shocking to me.
Broken clocks.
Yeah, broken twice a day. Support all victims to get help. I don't believe, but don't believe all accusations. Facts. They are quite happy to attack Depp, but calling out Heard's lies is abuse. All righty then. Yeah, we're abusing her, but both assaulting her. Nate, I like to believe all women, but what is a woman? You watched a lot of our videos. I hate Amber's dumb defenders in forums. Here's Mike. Mike, we got to. What did he say? My fairy boys. Bye,
fairy boys.
I'm sorry, bye, fairy boys. Oh,
this is the intellectual enlightenment.
A woman.
This is the intellectual enlightenment.
Mike,
I expect.
You're coming with good stuff. Just because we have who has, right? Who has doesn't. Who has? All right. So just because we have who has doesn't mean we can't be abusive. Who has? Doesn't mean we can't be abusive as well. LOL. You can preach equality, then change tack when it fits your narrative. Yes. Well said. Many prominent leftists have come out pro Depp. Please stop making this a left-right issue. This does not help anyone. Justice for Johnny.
Again, I'm not. I'm saying that they're trying to.
They're
trying to. Vogue clearly was.
We're literally trying to point out that this is not. It's funny because most of my leftist friends who I talk to have said this is not a left-right issue. This is a Johnny. This is a domestic abuse issue, and this is about truth and honesty. I was watching Whitney on the stand. And if you watch the video, the cat lady
is prompting.
It's prompting Whitney in the background. I nearly fell over watching. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
That.
Yeah.
I had heard that.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you for that super chat. Sarah says, "Don't kill me, guys. I don't believe all of Amber Heard. All of Amber Heard all of Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
they are both abusive people. It was a toxic power imbalance relationship. Sarah, we are not going to kill you for that because I think if Amber tells that same story, I think Amber wins. Mm-hmm. If I was Amber's attorney, you know what I'd be saying? The argument would be they survived each other. Mm-hmm. Right? That would be the argument for Amber.
Mutual combat.
They survived each other. It wasn't just Johnny who survived. I survived Johnny. He survived me. It's so money. Obviously something more here, and I don't think they're selling that. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. She told him to ask jury how many people believe him. Oh yeah, I remember that.
She's learning.
I remember that. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for the $10 super chat. Thank you for the super sticker. All right, we're about to end this stream and head over to Nate and Eric. So people, please start moving over. We have a couple more super chats we're going to get through, and then we're going to end this stream. Finish reading up on the Johnny Depp New York Post article and then get out of there. So let me take down these last.
And you can watch it live. You'll see the same super chats being read. We're just going to kill this one. So the sooner you go over, the better.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give everybody a couple of. We'll take down 3 more super chats, then we'll move over. If your super chat is here, just click on that link, and we're gonna read it on the next stream. Actually, Eric's gonna read it on the next stream because I've been machine gunning through these things right now. But hopefully I'm getting to your questions. All right. So there has been reporting on how the judge's UK ruling was biased since his son works for the company owned by the Sun. I've heard that, but I just don't know their system. Hi, first super chat. Love watching. If we switch genders, would AA won every claim, especially after hearing the recording of if she had cut a finger? So they're saying if you just switch the genders, would this even be an issue? I don't think so. What do you guys think?
No, it wouldn't be news. That's for sure. I mean,
it would just have.
This would be a day that ends with Y.
Hello from Australia. According to the article, how would they possibly solve DV cases between 2 women? You believe them both?
Well, like Amber, enough. That's the highest rate of domestic violence is amongst 2 female couples.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. You see, we're learning something every day.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like murder. Who's the number 1 suspect in any murder? Who's a significant other?
That's true. Oh yeah, you're most likely, actually, for all crimes, you're more likely to be a crime committed against you by somebody who you know or even love than a stranger. Sure. Most people don't realize that. Here in the UK, the High Court are looking at perjury because in the UK, in the UKGB trial, she said she could face 7 years in prison. Yes, but also they're talking about removing her from the country where she can never come back because of the lie. So that's possible too. They may not be able to try her, but they're talking about expelling her, which is a lot easier to do. You don't even need to go to court for that. Just you can't come back. Here's one. Do they have to call him on cross? Couldn't address in Depp's case in chief. So do they have to call him for cross? I'm thinking they're talking about if Depp goes to the stand. I'm assuming that's what she's asking. Do they have to call him for cross? Couldn't they address it in Depp's case in chief? I'm not sure.
I think she means maybe rebuttal.
Oh, maybe.
But I don't think that you would do that.
Yeah, I don't think you'd do that
because you'd use him because he can do leading questions if they call him.
Yeah. It's a murder. It's the lawyer's dream. Direct questions on your own witness. That's the dream. This $10 to $9.99. They have to call him to connect him to Walderman. Yes. If they don't, they lose their counterclaims. Yes. If they do, they will lose time and the jury. Yes. They've already lost it just on how they want to do it, in my opinion. Yeah, because they can't get past the attorney-client privilege with Waldman. That's the problem. No, Nate. He is still adverse. Yeah, and I'm not sure. I think you're talking about if Johnny is called, he would still be adverse. Yeah, he would be an adverse witness. Sarah says he headbutted her, throws, has bruised buckles, and recordings of him raging on her and texting about R-word and burnt corpse.
I understand, but keep in mind there's a movie called The Life of Brian. Life of Brian, everybody should check out, by Monty Python, that literally goes into burning a witch and different things. So some of that, there are cultural references.
Yes. So now for everyone who's here, please click on the link in the description. We're going to keep this same thing going, but we're just going to blip off on Nate the Lawyer and head to Nate and Eric, which link is in the description and link is in the pinned chat. So Eric, you said, what do I have to do to end the stream here?
You go up top where you see the connected to on the top right, and there's a drop down, and you're going to disconnect the Nate the Lawyer one.
Connected to. All right, it's not showing me.
There should be a drop down arrow next to where it's connected to. Up on the top right, it shows the little channels.
I see the 2 channels. And
right, so you remove, or there's somewhere you can click on it. Say, yeah,
I got it. It doesn't say delete from YouTube. So again, click the link in the pinned comment in the description or go into the description of the video. There's a link that says Nate and Eric. That's where we're going right now. In 3,